excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Esper Tempo. That's right. We usually play blue-black Nethergoyf Tempo, but I've decided to splash white, and my reasoning is simple. Swords to Plowshares is quite strong against Eldrazi. It's quite strong against reanimation effects, and Prismatic Ending is quite good against Painter, and you only get those cards if you have white in your deck. We can also put Samwise the Stouthearted. This is a good all-around creature. It has flash. It tempts you with the ring, which basically can make your Tamiyo or your Psychic Frog unblockable. And if you get a second one, then you get a loot trigger every time you attack with whichever creature is carrying the ring at that given moment. It can also recur lands from your graveyard like Wasteland and Fetches, of which we're playing 9. And it can recur Baubles or Nile Spellbomb. So you can essentially draw a card a second time off it. So it's kind of like a mini Baleful Strix effect, but it's a little easier to cast because it's just colorless and white mana, and it can come out at instant speed. So let's talk about the other creatures. Tamiyo is a 4-of in pretty much every deck I play now. She's just insane. Same thing with Psychic Frog. Same thing, of course, with Force, Brainstorm, Ponder. And we do have 3 Dazes in here, which I think is usually the correct amount for a tempo deck, unless you're like an all-in tempo deck. We're playing 3 Wastelands. We're playing 9 fetch lands, and we're playing 7 fetchable lands, including these 3 basics, which I've included against my better judgment, just because I do think that, we're not playing Murktide. We don't have a single double blue spell in our deck. I think we'll probably be okay. This does have a responsibly high level of blue lands that we can have turn 1. I'm not playing any ETB tapped lands precisely because I want to make sure we can always get an island out into play turn 1 to cast a Tamiyo or to ponder or do whatever we need to do. And we have 14 turn 1 blue mana sources. This is something that I'm going to continue to preach, is you need to have at least 14 blue mana sources in your deck, either whether that's basic islands, dual lands, fetch lands that can get your basic island or your dual lands, if you're going to be playing the normal cantrip type deck. And any deck that goes below 14 is doing so at its peril. White opens up some pretty tasty sideboard cards. Serenity is just insane against Painter, against Beanstalk, and we've got 2 of those, which can also potentially be recurred by Samwise if we just need to get it back and use it later. We have Lavinia, who is so useful. I don't think we even need to talk about her. Containment Priest is quite good against reanimation strategies. It's also incidentally quite good against Painter because it can stop Fable of the Mirror Breaker from arriving. It can also stop, or it can stop the actual Reflection of Kiki-Jiki from arriving. And it can also, of course, shut off their graveyard recursion if they're trying to weld in, like Painter, for example, to mill you out. Containment Priest, flash it in on the stack, or just park it in play, and your Reanimator opponent can never use their 7 reanimation effects. And then we've got a couple Force Negations, a couple Hydroblasts, 3 Consigned to Memory. We're not able to play the Harbinger of the Tide in a 3-color deck. I don't think it's advisable. So we're going to be relying on these cards to get us through the Eldrazi matchups. And then 4 Bowmaster, which if you've been watching any of my recent videos, you've seen how powerful Orcish Bowmaster is. So one of the big things that I did and how this is different from the Esper Tempo builds that you can find a video of me playing Esper Tempo is for Nethergoyf's main deck and move the Orcish Bowmasters to the sideboard. Now, in matchups that are creatureless, like Jeskai Control, or practically creatureless, like a lot of Beanstalk decks, just take out the plows, put in the Orcish Bowmasters. We should be good to go. Really strong card, but not main deckable right now, in my humble opinion. So that's the deck. As always, I'm going to play a full 5 rounds of Legacy action, and I encourage you to leave comments with timestamps where you think I punted or where I missed lethal or where I did anything that's suboptimal, because I am playing to learn. I am playing to get better. If you play to learn and you play to get better, the wins just take care of themselves eventually. And so that's the way I am. I'm not going to get tilted or bent out of shape if I lose. I think this deck will have some really bad matchups. I think Painter is going to be really rough. Maybe not as rough now that we have access to Prismatic Ending and Plow, but it's still going to be tough. and of course Eldrazi. But I think we'll be okay against combo decks for the most part. I think we'll be okay against aggro mirrors and aggro tempo mirrors. I am worried about the reanimation matchup, but luckily we do have two main deck Nile Spell Bombs and one sideboard Containment Priest that can hopefully shepherd us through that. So that was a really long, comprehensive deck tech. I'm really excited about this. I'll see you in round one. All right, and right off the bat, we are going to get to test our brew versus one of the best players on MTGO, LarryDavidYo. I think we keep this. Says everything we want. He's likely on Reanimator. Actually, let's take a look. He almost always plays Reanimator, and he plays like real Reanimator, like all-in Reanimator. I mean, this is a good hand. Plow will deal with one of his monsters. But all of his monsters, if it's an Archon, that's okay. But Gristlebrand, let's see, how much disruption does he play usually? He plays 4 Unmasks, 3 Thoughtseize. We can't reliably go down. I think I keep this and I bobble and I ponder for a force. Yeah, I'm going to try that because I don't want to mulligan too much. I mean, this could be, inadvisable. Let's go ahead and start by bobbling and just double checking that is indeed what they're on. Yep. Definitely Reanimator with the Reanimator on the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a, I'm going to, I think I Tundra here just because I need to be able to plow. I mean, I have it next turn if I need it, but I'm going to ponder here. We didn't hit anything super useful here. I'm going to any order shuffle. Okay. Yeah. Prismatic Ending is probably completely dead unless they use Animate Dead. Yeah. I'm not hopeful about this game. Let's see if we get off this. Okay. Yeah. Not super hopeful. I mean, they have the Reanimate, so it's just a matter of stopping their enabler, which could be them, unmasking themselves. Is something they can do with Unmask they can't do with Grief. So options. If we put this Psychic Frog out there, we're basically saying like, hey, we've got like nothing to do here. If, however, I just play this out, I can Samwise and step. I think I'm going to do that. That way I can get the land back, and that'll be an easy pitch if they do have Archon. All right, they're fetching. Is this the Entomb? Let's see what they Entomb. If it's Gristlebrand, I'm going to be terrified. It is indeed Gristlebrand. I don't think there's any hope here because we know they have Reanimate. We plow Gristlebrand, they just draw like a ton of cards. I think I can actually Prismatic End this instead of giving them life. That might actually be okay. But they can draw so many cards that they can just, obliterate my hand. Let's see what they do here. If they pass the end step, all right. Well, I am going to go ahead and deploy the Samwise. They're going to draw in response. They don't have instant speed, discard. All right, so we know that they have a Reanimate in hand as well. I think I just go ahead and get a second Tundra. Let's see, do they play? They don't play any. They have 2 Magus of the Moon sideboard, so maybe I can get them to somehow bring that in. Make them think I don't have basics. This seems so weak. They play Gristlebrand, I play Samwise the Stouthearted. All right, let's get this back. The good news is if I plow here, they can't get Gristlebrand again. Actually, wait a second. If I kill their enemy dead, they can't actually activate Gristlebrand. Okay. That is a pretty awesome draw here. Okay, so I'm going to start by just hitting them. Just because I can. They can't block. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just... So what did they put in their graveyard? They put Archon of Cruelty, which is fine. I'm not worried about that. Okay. Now we've exiled that. They're forcing. Oh, they do have force in their deck. Okay. Well, trying to think of what we should do here. Because we can plow. The fact that they have a force in there. Let's see. They have Psychic Frog. So they are on the blue-black version. They're a little bit more all-in than most blue-black versions are. Because they're playing Gristlebrand, like multiples. So plowing this doesn't actually deal with it. This is legendary. I think I just pass to their turn. And then if they attempt to make me discard, I can play out the plow. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and plow here. Now they're in combat. They can draw a bunch of cards and potentially force this. Yep. Let's see if they get another force. They've seen half their deck, so it reasons that they would have half of their forces by now. Yeah, they do have days as well. All right, so I'm going to take 6. They can't draw, though. Not that it matters. I mean, they already have 12 cards in their hand. I think they're probably going to get Archon back here. Dark Ritual. Animate Dead on Archon or Cruelty is going to kill our Ring Bearer here. We can discard this land. They're going to Thoughtseize to take our plow, most definitely. I mean, we definitely could have conceded there to get information, but I'm getting information about their deck. Okay, they pitched double Psychic Frog. Nethergoyf is not going to do it. I'm going to concede. Yep. Have we mulled the force? They did Thoughtseize us, right? Wait, did they? Did they not Thoughtseize us? Okay. If they didn't Thoughtseize us, then maybe I should have aggressively mulled. We didn't see any unmasks. They may not be playing unmask. They may be playing force instead. Okay, so Bowmasters, as terrible like as it is for one of our opponent's cards to resolve, this is very good against both Archon and against... I don't even know if this is worth bringing in, this Lavinia. Containment Priest comes in for sure. Because they're so all in on the combo, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Force of Negation. I think we take out Prismatic Ending. It's just not good enough. I'm going to leave the plows in out of respect for Frog, even though it's like it's unlikely that we're going to be able to kill their frogs because they're probably, by the time they have a frog out, like they can just they can't reanimate a plowed frog. So we need to cut some more cards. I feel like Samwise is pretty bad here. They're not going after our land anyway. And if we're taking out Samwise, we could probably take out Mishra's Bauble. Consign to Memory doesn't really help us here. I don't want to take out any more blue or black creatures. Or, I'm sorry, I don't want to take out any more blue cards. We could take out one of our lands because they're not going to be going after our lands at all. I'm not sure that that's correct. Baleful Strix, interestingly, is kind of good because it can wall a frog. I think we keep that. Lavinia is a blue card that pitches to force. Maybe we just take out one of the Bowmasters and we keep Lavinia. She also shuts off our opponent's forces. She shuts off, we didn't see any, I'm pretty sure they're not playing Unmask. It does shut off Unmask, but it does that on turn 2. Force. I think we keep it. Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of hemming and hawing and laboring over little decisions from me this league. Unfortunately, just because I'm not sure. It's a really tough call. We don't have the blue count that we do with the other deck. We have currently we have maybe 25 blue cards. Yeah, I'll play first. This is a double force hand. I'm going to snap keep this, but I'm not going to snap keep it. I want my opponent to think that I've really labored over this decision. Sad thing is, since they have the frog angle, we're not really safe. I'll feel a lot safer once I find a spell bomb, but I can't throw this back. All right. And burning clock like that is a luxury we have because we know this isn't going to be a long matchup. We're definitely not going to go to time. They're mulling to 5, which is great. If they have a frog hand, that could be a problem. We didn't show them any basics last game, so it's quite possible that they did bring in the Magus. So we need to be cognizant of that. I'm just going to open Fetch. white is the least important color right now. I'll go ahead and open this. I mean, this actually I should have opened Strand because I'm almost certainly going to want to have blue black. Thoughtseize is fine. I'm not going to attempt to. Well, actually, I mean, I could just withhold information here. I don't have anything else going on because they're going to play around this days. I think I'd rather keep information. Then if they force, I will just let them have it. I don't think they're going to force with 4 cards hand. Yeah, I'll just grab the island, and I'm going to float here. Actually, yeah, I'll brainstorm after this resolves, because then I can fetch away at least one of these cards if I don't need it. Yeah, this could be a disaster if I get a bunch of lands. Oh, I get a bunch of non-blue cards. Well, we can go get an Underground Sea here, and we can start running out these Nethergoyfs. I do want to redraw that land. I'll put the plow back for now. All right. So I'm just going to go get an Underground Sea here. I think there's no reason not to get the clock going. Actually, they play days. That is reason not to get the clock going. And then I have the option to keep the plow if they play frog here. And I'll probably pitch the Force of Will because Force of Negation can come online later. That's fine. I've got a plow on top of my deck. They are fetching basics, which makes me think that they are... Well, they could be playing the other Magus, the Harbinger of the Tides. I don't think I wasted them last game, did I? So this is definitely where it would come in handy to have a Marsh Flats or Scrubland, but I don't. So I'm just going to do the extremely passive play of just going ahead and plowing this now. They may discard a fatty or two. They do. That's fine. They get an extra life. We just have to hang on until we find a spell bomb, and then we'll be in a strong position. Okay, here's Reanimate. I am going to attempt to force this. I think I've forced pitching Force Negation, and the reason for this is, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well force exiling this. Yeah. All right, and if they have the force back, it's bad news bears. Okay, they didn't have Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, anything like that. Okay, they might have, what's it called? Animate Dead. Another Psychic Frog. That's fine. What I'll do is I will, they're Hellbent. Hopefully I draw a plow here. I draw my own Psychic Frog. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm, and I really need to find action here. I need to find a land. This is what I would consider action for sure. This is great. Unfortunately, it's not enough to kill Psychic Frog, but if I just get an Underground Sea and park a Tameo in front of this, they can't actually get damage. I think that's the play. So I'm going to put this back. Yeah, I think I'm going to put back everything and get an Underground Sea here. And then if they just somehow rip some must counter card, I will actually have the counter spell for it. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the difficulty in having 3 colors right here because I wanted to get basics just in case they had Harbinger. It's fine. So they would need something that actually puts them up a card in order to profitably attack Tameo. If they are able to push Tameo or do something like that, I'm just going to let it happen because I have my own Psychic Frog next turn. Actually, is that true? I'm not sure that I can do that. So they do have some sort of double spell. Okay, are they going for it? Well, that is a force, most definitely. Sadly, I gotta get rid of my frog. All right. They can't attack in, but if I attack them, they can attack me. Such a good draw. I'm just going to attack. See what I draw here. I am going to go ahead and crack the clue now. Is that irresponsible? I think it is irresponsible to not plow immediately. My reasoning being that And I'll save this clue and I'll draw after their sorcery speed stuff can be done. So like in the end step, that way they can't Thoughtseize whatever I draw. Okay, and they may have drawn a counter or a discard spell. Okay, Brainstorm's a good draw. That'll flip Tameo. That is insane. I'm going to attack first. I feel like if they had a Bowmaster, they would have used it by now. Here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to hold because Containment Priest is important and I don't want her to get dazed. And then I can instep bring in Containment Priest or in response to any of their many reanimation effects. Okay, they conceded to Containment Priest, which is great. They may not have a lot of removal if they're conceding to that. This is a notorious MTGO grinder. Like this person plays a ton of MTGO and they are regularly the trophy leader. Like the number one has the most trophies player on MTGO. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just were like, I'm going to move on to the next game. You know, like who knows, maybe they play like 3 or 4 leagues in a day. With Reanimator, you can do that. All right. So I feel like our list is solid. I don't see any changes that need to be made. Not a single change that I think needs to be made. I think we keep our dazes in, we keep our forces in. We have our Lavinia in. I would love to fit this Bowmaster in, but I don't think it's worth cutting in days. Yeah. All right. This is a force hand with double land and plow. I think all of our bases are covered here. I think I'm going to keep this. Yeah, like you don't want to keep digging for an optimal hand because they can still win if they have enough cards. They are mulliganing. It's just scary playing against basically the top deck in the format, Blue-Black Reanimator, and one of the top players. Like this is like I don't know, what do you call it when your tummy feels funky? Okay, so I'm going to go for it. With this now spell bomb, the upside is just too high. Yes, they could daze. Absolutely. I'm just thinking about what land I want to get. I think I do need to get a dual land. Do I? I'm thinking I could probably do blue-black. Yeah, I think I am going to get a regular land. I mean, I haven't seen any wastelands out of them, but it's definitely possible. And I think also possible is the Harbinger. If they're on Harbinger, it's really dumb to, get an island there. Okay, so we've got one of their reanimation effects covered. Probably going to surveil. All right, they kept. I mean, they might play Brazen Borrower. Frog is fine. Now, because I got that island, I have to probably go get a Plains here instead of a swamp, which sucks. Well, there's a saying, Napoleon likes good generals. He likes lucky generals more than good generals, right? Yeah, that's great. So what I'll do here is I'll just wait until we're in their turn. That way I have access to force negation. And I'll probably just wait until they're attacking and then plow. All right. And we're going to have an unimpeachable mana base here. I'm feeling really strongly about this game. Really strong. But things can spiral out of control very quickly against a really skilled player with a really good deck. So if we park this Marsh Flats in play, we can potentially hardcast Force Negation. I don't know if that's the play. Oh, man, why does it take you 2 business days per turn? I'll just say I'm recording and talking through my many lines. Hopefully, Larry David does not turn into one of those salty people who's like, hurry the F up. What the hell? Damn, you're so damn slow. Yeah. I'll try to do that in my best Larry David voice. Okay, so I think what we can do is probably go get a... I think it's worth it to go ahead and get the Psychic Frog out. Upside of Psychic Frog is so big. All right, this guy, super salty. So you're getting to see some salt. But, it's not fun salt unless you actually win the game. That's fine. So they're going to have to do a lot here. I don't need to draw off this Nile Spellbomb. I think we just force here because we can Nile Spellbomb later. How enjoyable do you think it is for your opponent? They said. All right, and we won the match. So here we go, Larry David. Cheers. All right, let's go on to the next one. So Larry David, by the way, if you haven't seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, the whole thing about Curb Your Enthusiasm is he's kind of a, a rich, entitled douchebag with like really bad social skills. He's playing himself, and he basically just goes about life like talking to the peons who don't have millions of dollars from, having syndicated TV shows like Seinfeld, and just not understanding why, everybody dislikes him. And he always figures out like ways to make people like dislike him. And despite people generally being really polite to him and everything, he'll figure out some way to make every little interaction awkward. The show is hilarious. I strongly encourage you to watch it. But that said, I don't know like whether Larry David's like a great human being in real life. Like he agreed to sponsor IEX, which was like a giant scam and scammed a ton of people. So he did like an endorsement of that. You might think he's really clever because the whole time in the endorsement, he was like dissing IEX, but I mean, he did choose to play a part in that. Okay, let's take a look at this. So we're up against Yakeldir. All right. Oops All Spells most recently, and Elves. So most likely a combo player. If they are on Oops, this is a great hand. This is not a hand that I should keep, but I am going to keep this hand. All right, and you may be thinking like somebody made a perfectly legit comment the other day, like isn't it kind of like cheating, like looking at what your opponents are playing? And I think like several other people replied this way, but my thinking on this is your opponents could be doing this as well, and by not doing it, you're giving yourself a disadvantage, right? They're mulling to 5 cards, like. This is the behavior of somebody who's likely on Oops All Spells, and Oops All Spells is one of those decks that just like is a predator. It preys upon people that don't look up the player to see that they're on Oops All Spells, because this is like a turn 1 glass cannon combo deck, right? So we do have 2 pitches to force. One thing I learned from last time I played against an Oops player is if you have 2 forces in hand and they Cabal Therapy you, just go ahead and force the Cabal Therapy. Otherwise, they're going to name Force of Will, and you're going to lose both forces anyway. Don't think that they're going to name anything else. Summoner's Pact. Yes, sure. By all means, resolve that card that will kill you during your next upkeep. Okay, Wild Canter. They pitched a spell, Elvish Spirit Guide. Again, I don't have anything against people who play this deck or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, one of the reasons you do need to check is because, your opponent might be on this, and you're just going to lose. And it doesn't feel like a fun loss. You're unnecessarily losing game 1 just because you have no idea what they're playing. Same thing with like the Necro Dominus deck. Sure. Do you have double Thoughtseize? Well, they can't have double Thoughtseize because they have to have the actual win con. So I'm going to force this. And I'll give them as little information about my deck as absolutely necessary here by pitching... I'll pitch Baleful Strix. That's an irrelevant card that might make them scratch their head because not very many people play that. They have 1 mana left, 1 card. Yep, and we deterministic win. Next turn, they just die of Summoner's Pact. So, again, I just want to emphasize, don't be ashamed. Don't feel bad about looking people up and thinking, oh, it's not really fair for me to do this. You have to do this because people insist on playing these kinds of decks. And I mean, like an Oops player... top 8 in, I think at the Four Seasons, right? So yeah, that's going to happen. Okay. You're going to see Oops even at the highest levels of play. It's not just some gimmicky deck. On any given Sunday, it can be the winner. It's really strong. Consign to Memory stops a lot of their stuff. Containment Priest stops the combo, should we actually go that far. Prismatic Ending does very little here. I think we can pull it. Samwise, sadly, is just, again, trying to play fair against the unfair decks. Not usually a winning strategy. They even have Reanimate, which is extra scary here. I don't think Plow is going to get us where we need to go. Nethergoyf does kill them quickly, but it might not even matter. I think rather than play Nethergoyf, we could put in Orcish Bowmasters, because we're not going to want to tap out. Nobody expects the second force. Yeah, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. All right, so we can add a couple cards here. Actually, I think Prismatic Ending is defensible because they might bring in... let's take a look at their list. This is like a list from like a month ago. See what they're likely bringing in here. Xantid Swarm. This is precisely why I think we should keep the spell in here. In fact, let's see, Foundation Breaker doesn't matter, but yeah, I mean that's potentially a problem. We're gonna have to force that. We could cut the Baubles. Baubles just dead air, and it makes our mulliganing harder. I think maybe we bring in. I'll bring in a Plow just out of respect for Xantid Swarm. Yeah, that's kind of like a hodgepodge of cards. Now spell bombs lights out basically. If we can get the force was with you, my opponent says they're taking the double force in good stride, and not saying the shuffler just gives you the perfect 7 every time, like LarryDavidYo was. Okay, so they're on the play again. Actually, I was on the play last game, which was not that consequential, but it is really good to be on the play against a turn 1 deck if you have days in your deck, which we have 3 days in our deck. So this is a Force of Will hand. This also has Consign to Memory and Containment Priest. If they don't turn 1 us, we just play this the second turn and then the game's over, basically. If they take the Force, they have to win immediately, or we can consign the trigger. And actually, Xantid Swarm does stop the consign trigger, but Containment Priest will be quite strong. I'm going to keep this. And we are very lucky that we did not need to mulligan into Oblivion to stop them. It's often considered right to have 2 pieces of interaction, turn 0 interaction. If they take a turn off to Thoughtseize us, we will... we might lose our force, but we won't be in the worst place. Also worth noting that Containment Priest stops Reanimate, which is, if you stop the first volley, they have Reanimate to potentially return the... gosh, I'm trying to think of the names of the cards. Those 2 black creatures, Undercity Informer, and I can't remember the other one. But it's basically a black creature that one of them costs 4, and it has the ETB trigger that dumps their deck into their graveyard. The other costs 3, and they had to pay 1 mana to activate it. But functionally, they're both the same. Okay, this is Xantid Swarm, which I'm going to force because I don't immediately have interaction with it. I think I'm going to pitch Psychic Frog. Consign can still do stuff here. All right, so I think we go Consign and we just chill. We'll play a land, and we're holding up Consign, which can stop their win con. They may have kept a slower hand and may not be able to go off immediately. We'll see. Okay, that's great news. Right, and I think the right thing is just to Containment Priest now on our turn, because then do they have anything in their deck that can get rid of Containment Priest? Aghadeve's Awakening doesn't. Fel the Profane can kill it, but it costs 4 mana. So they'd have to basically dump all their one-time use mana into killing it a single time. Yeah. I think we're safe just playing it out. If we wait, then... Wait, are they playing... They are playing Pact of Negation. This is the card. So, yeah, if they can't stop it now, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. And like the other option, of course, is to like do some filtering with Brainstorm and stuff. But I'm pretty sure they can't win with this deck, with this card on the table. And even if they spend a turn getting rid of it, we do have plenty of other gas in our hand. So it's not like we're all in on this, but if they can get rid of it and win in the same turn, our opponent is hopefully thinking about whether they even have an answer to this in their deck. Okay, they're going for it. Yeah. Okay, they're not using the ability. I unfortunately Consign can't hit the ability. Okay, so options. I think what I want to do first is I want to see if I can ponder into... So I do have one plow in my deck. Now Spellbomb also does it. I'm going to play out the Nile Spellbomb and then I'm going to waste them. Actually, I'm not even going to waste them. I'm just going to play out the Polluted Delta because I can crack the Nile Spellbomb, draw into Force. No, I can't because I would need to fetch with Polluted Delta in order to... Yeah, so I'm just going to take the Nile Spellbomb. They just said GG. Yeah. There's no point in attacking. I'll just chill. Wait, I do... yeah, they conceded. Yeah, I was going to waste that and then basically just like wait until I had the opportunity to get to them, sacrifice a creature. So they can sacrifice any creature, actually. I didn't even notice that. They don't have to sacrifice this creature. All right, so we're 2-0. That was quick. Let's go into against combo decks, which I said in the deck tech that I thought we were not totally unfavored against combo decks. Like having Lavinia, having Containment Priest, like these do matter against a lot of the combo decks of today. All right, Magic Dads. This is another dedicated Reanimator player. So we're playing 3 crazy combo decks in a row. Yeah, I don't even have to look them up. Like, well, we can look them up just because I just gave a lecture. You should always look them up, and I'm going to do that. Magic Dads. Yeah, this player just, I mean, this is like 7 pages of winning with Reanimator. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Reanimator deck. Yep, Reanimator. This is like 10 fins. So they've been playing this for like more than a year, nonstop. They've gotten heaven knows how many trophies. Let's take a look at their most recent. All right. So this is an Unmasked Shallow Grave. This is the tech because this is really strong. This card I haven't even seen in action before, but it looks really scary. I'll read it when it comes up. Atraxa, Archon of Cruelty, Gristlebrand. Yeah, this is like a straight, like there's no Force of Will in here, but they do have 4 Unmask, 4 Thoughtseize. And they have, in terms of ways of getting cards in, they can Thoughtseize themselves or Unmask themselves, and then they have Faithless Looting and Entomb. So they have fewer enablers. 4 Animate Deads, 3 Shallow Graves, 4 Reanimate. Those are their ways of getting cards into play. Oh, and they have Cabal Therapy too. So, yeah. Yeah, this is a mulligan, sadly. We just have to get... this is a keep. I'm going to put back Samwise for like the nth time this match. I promise Samwise is good against fair decks. He is not a slash. He is not a bad card by any means, but he's not particularly strong in these kinds of matchups, unfortunately. So we'll put back Samwise, and unfortunately he's also an additional color that we don't have access to. As far as I can tell, they don't have any sort of like land interaction other than 2 Magus of the Moon. So game 1, I don't have to worry about it. I do, however, think it's good to open Underground Sea and hold the Wasteland because we might be able to force something and then waste if they kept a 1-lander. They don't play a lot of lands. They play 14 lands in their entire deck. So cutting them off mana is a way to buy time, potentially. And usually they don't fetch basics. Let's see if they fetch a basic here. They did. Okay, Thoughtseize is fine. I'm just going to let it happen. This is par for the course, by the way. Like Thoughtseize is a 1-for-1. Force of Will is a 1-for-2, meaning that like the offender who is using Thoughtseize is always favored against the defender who's trying to stop things with Force of Will. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to ponder and just see if I can find one of my Nile Spellbombs. There it is. These other cards are terrible. I can't even cast them. I still think Nile Spellbomb is good enough that we do this because this represents effectively a 2-for-1 because it represents them having to put something in the yard and them having to sacrifice and them having to reanimate it. Now, realistically, they're probably just going to attempt to reanimate my Psychic Frog, which sadly I'll probably have to force. Okay, they're not reanimating anything. That's great. All right, dead draw. How many swamps? They have tons of swamps, so I think I just hold this in my hand. Actually, they already saw my hand. They already know I have a wasteland, so there's no reason to not play it out. All right, I'm just going to pass. Well, the reason is I could, potentially brainstorm it back. Yep, time is on their side though, because every turn they're drawing potential interaction, and I'm just chilling here with my plow on top of my deck that I can't cast because I decided to play a 3-color deck. I shall pay penance for my crimes of playing 3 colors and splashing too liberally, as all 3-color decks must be punished in the current format of Legacy. I'll come back as Punished Snake. Yeah, I'm just going to let that resolve. Enjoy looking at my Samwise. So them getting my Psychic Frog back is not the end of the world. I can, yeah, and that's what they're going to do here. I do have a plow on top of my deck, and I'll just wait for it to arrive. I think that's better. Yeah, I think it's better to let them hit me once or twice than it is for me to just, yeah, and I could be wrong. Actually, comment if you think that's wrong. If you think I should have drawn the card and nuked my own graveyard and stopped the frog from coming in. But my suspicion is they may have an Entomb in hand. If they had the red card, Faithless Looting, they probably would have used it by now. Yeah, I'm going to just let the Psychic Frog hit me, unfortunately. They can make it really big, but I do have a plow that they don't know about. And I'm just going to, once I plow this, again, like the next 2 spells are taken care of with Nile Spellbomb. The Enabler and the Reanimation spell itself. They're not going to be wanting to reanimate my Samwise. Yep, they are buffing it a little bit. They put just an Entomb in the graveyard. Is that what? Really? I don't think that's right. But who am I to question the judgment of the Reanimator expert who's been playing, for the past year and a half, nothing but Reanimator. All right, you're going to get a card. And hopefully it's not going to be a Thoughtseize or an Unmask. All right, my kids just came home, so I apologize if you hear like ambient noise. Therapy. Well, this sucks. They're not going to name Force, but they're probably going to just name Force, I would imagine. I don't think they'll sack the Psychic Frog here. I doubt they'll name Plow, but then they're going to know about the Plow. Okay, wow, they went with Samwise? Interesting. Now they have the Thoughtseize. Okay, so options. I think I just had to let them take it. Yeah, this is sad time. All right, we could draw another one, but we need a land. Best thing I could draw is probably a frog of my own or something. I don't know. Now I'm starting to think I should have just killed. Oh, that's not bad. This will be able to attack next turn. I do think it's worth playing this out rather than spellbombing them here. So they are definitely ahead on the frog race. However, I have 3 more plows that I'm drawing to and 2 prismatic endings. I've also had to tap off of black. Okay, what are they putting in the graveyard? They're just putting random junk that they don't need. I think they're going all in on this frog. Sure, I'm not going to do anything. They may have a frog of their own. Not worried about my life total. I'm worried about things slipping away through some other axis. Okay. All right, Tameo's not bad. I can't immediately use her. I'm just going to attack with Frog with Force Up. Would love to get a fetch. They are low enough in life. Okay, that's good. I am going to play this out, and I'm going to go ahead and play a Tameo. I don't really care about this force. I'll probably just pitch it to Psychic Frog if things get really heated. But now I'm drawing twice as many cards as them. This Nile Spellbomb has completely warped the texture of the game. It would be completely different without this Spellbomb. They may give it... they don't need to give it flight. I'm not going to block. Surely they're going to attack. The key in these matchups is just be super disciplined and hold. Do not crack your Nile Spellbomb. Okay. They're coming in for damage. They could actually do a lot of damage here if they want to pitch a bunch of cards. All right. Yeah, I'll just take it. Shout out to Magic Dads for, having like an exclamation point. Very enthusiastic. Good luck. Have fun. I'm not a fan of Reanimator, but I respect your dedication to it. Okay. This could... Okay. I may actually waste that. I mean, we're getting close to Hardcast Force. We're at Hardcast Force here. I think I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to attack with everything. So my opponent knows I'm at Hardcast Force. Holy cow, that's such a good draw. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this out. All right, so now I think I do go ahead and waste this. I could definitely wait till upkeep. I should have probably done that. Yep. Right, and next turn I can crack a clue and draw. It's just a matter of time before I get to something that is strong enough. Let's see, if they go all in, then I'm dead in 2 cracks, and I just have to hold back. I'm not planning to flip Tameo, by the way. You may have noticed that I didn't flip Tameo. She'll just die if I flip her. I'd much rather have a private Howling Mine. It's just a matter of time before I draw Plow. Okay, so there is an argument for flipping her just because, like, let's say hypothetically they don't attack Tameo. Then I can... Okay, there's the Archon. Okay. They're putting a lot of good stuff in their graveyard. Are you trying to tempt me? Because you know I come from the land of plenty. Okay. Double Archon. Look at how much work these now Spellbombs are doing. Yep, I'll take 6. I'm dead in 2 turns. Or 1 turn. All right. Okay, so here's my thinking. I do want to exile their graveyard. They've got so much juiciness in their graveyard. I should have done this end of second main. I'm going to draw a card first. Okay, that flips Tameo. I think I am going to go ahead and do this now. Nethergoyf. Okay, they have no graveyard to give flight to their Psychic Frog. Doesn't mean they can't do it. Okay. Options. I think option 1 is just attack with everything and hope that double Brainstorm finds us a removal spell. We have 2 different removal spells we could potentially find. I don't have to attack with the Tameo, but she's going to get flipped anyway. When a Brainstorm. Okay. All right. I'm going to start by brainstorming here. I do want to keep mana up. Okay. Samwise, Nethergoyf. None of these do it. I'm going to put Plains back. Put Nethergoyf back. Okay. Flips. We have to find the card or we're dead. Like, despite all our efforts, this will be hoisted upon our own petard, killed by our own Psychic Frog, right? You may think, oh, that's greedy. You just hold your Psychic Frog back. And I can totally see the reasoning in that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get rid of this thing. Let's grab a Tundra here. I mean, technically we see more cards if we crack the clue before we brainstorm, but then if Prismatic Ending is not an out anymore, I am going to actually. I'm gonna brainstorm here. Please show us the plow. Show us the PE. Okay, we got it. All right. So I'll just put this back and this back. Now I'm gonna go white, black, Prismatic Ending. Done. I shouldn't have put Teferi back. That was a bad play because now I don't have Force Up. All right. And my opponent can still potentially kill me. I'm not sure how, but my opponent is extremely experienced, and I've already punted by not keeping the Tameo in hand for Force. I was just so excited to get rid of it that I punted in that way. Okay, we did it. So we didn't get punished for not putting the Teferi in, but I just want to acknowledge that I was not playing 100% tight there. Okay. So I think Lavinia comes in. They almost certainly have Unmask. It does restrict their options a little bit. They are not a Dark Ritual deck, but they do have Lotus Petal, which also gets countered by this. Force Negations definitely come in. Let's see how much red they're likely to bring in. So Magus, Molten Collapse is something we can Hydroblast. I do like that. They are playing basically 0 creatures that can be plowed. In terms of permanents that can be destroyed, I think we probably take out... This is always tough. But plow is not particularly good against the deck. Well, okay. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take these out. I think Hydroblast is worth bringing in. Obviously, Containment Breach is bonkers, insane, amazing. Okay, I think we shave a Wasteland. This card's really bad against them. Netherglyph does help us close the game. We just need to cut 1 card. I mean, I'd like to bring in Bowmasters too, because you see their deck. It's like, well, this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the Samwise, and I'm going to bring in Bowmasters. A non-blue for non-blue. And then we need to cut 1 more card. I mean, on the draw, Days is definitely weaker. Strix actually does dance with like Atraxa, and it pitches to Force. I don't want to take out the Strix. 1 more card substitution. Gosh, why am I so torn? I think we take out another Netherglyph. As good as it is, it's not as good as Bowmasters in terms of being able to disrupt. And since they're likely not going after our mana, I think we can afford it. All right. Combo. That's what our lineup has been so far. 3 combo decks. This is a trap. We need a Force or a Nile Spell Bomb. We need both. Force is non-negotiable. Nile Spell Bomb. Did they mull? They kept a 7. We can't freak out. We just need to keep going. This is the hand right here. Nile Spell Bomb plus Force Negation plus Days. So I think we put back... I'm going to put back a Tamiyo and a Ponder. Because Tamiyo, I do want to... Like, I can play her early. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Tamiyo, Ponder. 1 lander. See what you made me do, you combo decks. You make me keep terrible hands. I'm just glad Grief's not in the format anymore. Because Grief really made you just like not want to mulligan. Like I kept so many like hands without Force. Yeah, this is going to force them to choose. And they're probably going to take the Spell Bomb. Unless they have like, you know, something that immediately shuts down what I'm trying to do. They kept 7, so they likely have more land, so they can just wait out Days. But I think Force and Negation on Thoughtseize would be a mistake. Okay, and they agree. Spell Bomb is the take. We're not expecting to win on the draw with a mull to 5, but I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna get Underground Sea here. Play out a Tamiyo. I'm going to try to do something over here instead of just sitting here drawing cards. Because every turn that goes on, because Thoughtseize, you know, takes out 2 counter, or like essentially, like if I force something, I'm pitching 2 cards. Like you are pretty, you know, pressured to actually do stuff on board against them and to progress your game plan. This is one of the reasons why these kind of combo decks are actually really strong against like Jeskai control and other like true control decks. Is because they just overwhelm the counter magic and eventually get something through. And that something runs away with the game. So Dark Ritual. Yep. Do you have more hand disruption? And now they have so much mana that like Days is probably the pitch here. Okay. They're going to go get red. They might Magus us here. Yeah, that's what they're doing. I mean, I'm just going to let it resolve. I do have basics. I have 3 basics in my deck that I can eventually draw. Yeah, I can't even stop that. I don't think it's right to stop that. Well, okay, hear me out. We are not going to win unless we use Tamiyo to draw out of this. I think it would be a mistake to keep the Days around that they already know about and let our Tamiyo die here. Had I Dazed, of course, like they wouldn't have been able to do that immediately. Eventually they will be able to do that. Yeah, that was a desperation play. Better lucky than good. Give me the lands. Okay, no. I am going to go ahead and start creating clues. I don't care about the 2 damage. Just going to F6 through the rest of the turn. F6 through their turn. I mean, even though we're up against a combo deck with the rate at which I play, which LarryDavidYo was so quick to point out, yeah, I can go to time here. All right, we're taking it. Our opponent will know that we don't have a force in our hand, but it's probably not like the biggest surprise. Yeah, I definitely could have gotten the island there. That would have changed this a lot. I'm going to attack and hope to draw to one of my 3 basics. Basic planes being the best. All right, they're attacking. End step. Let's draw a card. All right, that's a good card. All right, another land. I think we don't play this out. They're not playing Days. I'm just going to draw because if I can find... That's fine. I am going to play the land now. Eventually we'll get to 4 and then we'll get to draw 2 cards in 1 turn. And then if we want, we can even flip Tamiyo. Flipping Tamiyo actually is a win con because we can just... They can only hit her for 1 with the current board state. All right. We have Force Up. Not a lot of updates. I'm not talking a lot. When I don't talk, my auto edit script that I use will cut it out. So I apologize if you're like missing part of the game because there's just no update to be made. Like we're just hoping to draw to our out. We've got 3 outs in our deck. I think if we stick one of these, there's a decent chance. I think we let them do this. They're going to get forced either way. They might get Psychic Frog and try to reanimate it. Nope. If we get a land, we can flip her. Oh, that's great. I want to start by attacking. Okay. I am going to go ahead and play this out. Now they can't attack us. It's just a matter of time before they have something, though. They've got so many enablers in their deck. They're probably going to name Psychic Frog here. Double Psychic Frog into the grave. Luckily, that will buff my Netherglyph a little bit. They might name Plow. I don't think Plow is right because I've got 1 planes in my entire deck. Okay. Yep, those are... I can choose which order I want to put them in. I didn't know you could do that. All right. Reanimation effect would be very sad. All right, I'm just going to draw. Oh, wow. My goodness. We're getting so lucky here. It's improbable. It's extremely unlikely that those cards that we need would be in the top. I think I play this out. Now I'm just going to attack with both. Okay, my clock is, or my MTGO is spinning here. Hopefully it's going to fix itself so I don't have to reconnect and probably lose the match. Come on, MTGO. Okay, good. They're not going to block anything, I wouldn't imagine. I totally could have pondered before I attacked. That was a misplay. That was a total misplay. So well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go ahead and flip Tamiyo because doing so, Hydroblast kills her. I'll take Bowmaster now. Flip. +2. Your move. All right, so they should definitely be reanimating stuff now. They have 1 turn to do their big splashy reanimation effect before I just completely run away with the game. Now, I have no idea what's in their hand or why they're not doing anything. They don't have any fatties in their yard. If they grab one of my Psychic Frogs, that's just not going to be enough. Because once this Containment Priest hits the table, I think it's like lights out. That's okay. They are attacking. Debuff happens. Bowmasters comes in. Bowmasters pings. Are they scooping? Wow, they scooped. We won the match. Holy cow. We are 3-0 against these combo decks. Magic Dads. I don't think I've ever beaten him before. I'm assuming he's a male. I've never beaten Larry David. I think I may have beaten Larry David before. I haven't actually had the misfortune of having to play him very often. And I wouldn't be saying misfortune if you weren't like a salty person there. But Yackle Deer was totally chill with the Oops deck. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna grab a drink and we're gonna jump like a non-alcoholic drink. Don't drink and play Magic. That would be my advice. Not if you want to play well. I don't drink alcohol. I'll go ahead and sermonize. I haven't had a drink of alcohol since my daughter was born 9 years ago. And yeah, like I'm feeling great. You don't need alcohol in your life to have a great, fun, full life. This public service announcement brought to you by Be Excellent. All right, I'll see you in round 4. All right, round 4, we are up against a deck by Fatumi, likely Grixis Delver, which will be fun. I feel like this hand is pretty damn strong, considering we can recur Mishra's Bauble. We are on the draw, but that's okay. I think I'll keep this. Yeah, I mean, if they are on Delver, I'm going to want to PE one of their threats, preferably the DRC. All right. Wooded Foothills implies that they're maybe not on any basics. Oh, green. Oh, no. This is that deck. All right. Well, I'm going to bolt the bird here. Yeah, so it's yet another combo deck. This is the Nadu deck, I think. I would love to be wrong. If they're on Nadu, there's no real reason for me to fetch basics. I mean, they could be on... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get a Tundra here. I was going to say they could be on some sort of green fair deck, which I would prefer. All right, by Noble Hierarch. I think it does make sense to go ahead and just play this out, just to confuse them as to what I'm on. But if I draw a land, then I won't pop the bauble, or then I won't recur the bauble with Samwise. But otherwise, I'd rather have a random draw than just getting a fetch back. The other alternative, of course, is that I Psychic Frog, and then I Samwise later. Okay, interesting. So, double green mana. Green Sun Zenith. I hate to do this, but I think it's correct. I am going to force here. I need tempo. Forward tempo here. And you may be thinking, well, you're going to be really sad next turn when Nadu comes out, and that might be the case. The white makes me think that they likely do have... interesting. So, Nethergoyf might take the bullet for Psychic Frog. I'm going to go ahead and crack the bauble now and see what they're drawing. Trop. Okay, so we're definitely against Nadu. I think it's... The Nadu deck doesn't play a lot of removal usually. I'm going to go get an Underground Sea here. And I am going to go ahead and just... I feel so bad to not use Samwise's ability. But I feel like the upside of Psychic Frog is higher here. No. Yeah, I think I'll just get the land back. Because I can double spell next turn. If there is a next turn. Yeah, maybe this is greedy for value. And I should be optimizing for smashing their face. Let's get the bauble back. And now I'm kind of wishing that I'd pitched... I guess I can... It doesn't matter. No, I'll wait until their turn. No, because if I'm going to draw a force, I want a force. Yeah, I'll just... that's fine. Okay. So I'm not necessarily going to be able to double spell next turn, unfortunately, because I went for the bauble draw. Oh, that's great. Yeah, these are great cards. We can potentially Brainstorm and Nethergoyf next turn. Nethergoyf's going to be a 4/5. If for some reason they decide to... I'm not sure how they would kill our Samwise, but that could make it a 5/6. So our Nethergoyf's almost fully leveled up. Okay, green. They might... So we know that they have a 4th land here. Yeah, they can't Nadu this turn. I'm surprised they're not playing the Trop that we know that they have. Oh, they played the Dryad Arbor first. That makes sense. I'm going to draw here. Oh, man. I really wish I had a second. So I think I'm going to start by attacking. If they trade with either of these, I'll be very happy. I don't think they will. Because they're probably going to go to Combo Town here. Okay. Now, I think the simple thing to do is if we brainstorm and we whiff, that's bad. Nethergoyf is a substantial clock. Psychic Frog is a draw engine. Brainstorm. If we find a second fetch, I think it's worth trying. Yeah, we found the fetch. Spellbomb doesn't do anything here. Daze is not the worst. It's not really good though. Okay, I'm going to put these back. I'll play this out. I'm tempted to play the Nethergoyf and just plow one time, but there is the possibility they're playing Force. I'm just going to go ahead and plow now, and if they somehow force this, okay, now I'm going to play out the Nethergoyf. Because Nethergoyf is big enough that it'll be able to bully them a bit. Now they... Hey, kids, please leave me alone. I'm recording. All right. So this is a Green Sun Zenith maybe for Nadu. That's fine. We will plow Nadu. Yeah. Okay, so we can both plow Nadu and we can drop another Goyf. Seems pretty strong. I'm going to go ahead and plow Nadu and see what they flip. Okay, the trigger goes on the stack. Another Green Sun Zenith. Okay, that's not good. I think we attack with everything and we play out Psychic Frog. I mean, it's just so frustrating that Nadu like replaces itself in addition to being like one of the best combo creatures ever printed. Yeah, so we're going to hit for 6 here, which is not nearly enough. I am going to go ahead and play out the Frog. Then next turn, I can add Nethergrowth to the board just to speed up the clock. But they are going to be able to get another Nadu online. I just don't want them to get the combo. They've got so much mana now. Okay, here is the Green Sun. And if the last card is a combo enabler, we're super duper screwed. And a lot of this is, you know, I did get greedy there with Samwise. Okay, they don't have it. That's great news. Okay. Okay, so we can basically make Psychic Frog big enough. We can't make Psychic Frog big enough to kill. I think it's worth it to maybe like make them think we have something with Psychic Frog. Worst case scenario, we just discard these 2 cards. And Psychic Frog will be big enough that we'll be able to attack through next turn. I think that's the correct play. And putting another Goyf in the graveyard does buff our other Nethergoyf, so it'll do a little extra damage. I think they block here. This land does literally nothing for us at this point. Okay, they blocked, so I'm just going to discard. And I'll discard this. They'll take 7. And Frog will survive. I don't think it's worth bringing Frog back here because it would make... Let's see, we have instant land... We have a source. We just have 1 sorcery. We just have 1 artifact. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I think it increases the total power, and it also decreases the number of. So we can exile a land. We can exile. The hardest ones to find are. We'll definitely exile an instant. We'll exile a sorcery. And we'll exile an artifact. Yeah, these are just going to be like 3 3s, I think. 3 4s, maybe? 2 3s. Yeah, that's a lot weaker than they used to be. Okay, well. Depending on what we draw, we might be able to overpower them next turn. Or we might just die right now. I'm going to F6. There's no point in... I'm not going to be able to do anything this turn. We just have to hope that they don't have... Can Court of Calling get non-green creatures? They can go get... That can trigger. Okay. So they get to untap once. They get 1 trigger. Hierarch. This is the Court of Calling. Search your library for a creature card, mana value X. Okay, and now they go off. That sucks. Yeah, I don't feel like there was anything I could have done there. The only sequencing decision there was whether to use whether to just get on the board quicker with Psychic Frog and that might have drawn me some extra cards. But I did get extra cards off Samwise. So, yeah. We'll just see more of their deck. I haven't actually played against this specific, like, all-in Nadu combo deck with Court of Callings. I've mostly been playing historically. Okay, it's interesting. We'll talk about the evolution of this deck. So it started out breakfast, right? It was obvious, like, oh, I'll just include Nadu and Cephalid Breakfast, and that'll be really good. And that was really good. And then people realized, oh, you don't actually need like the Cephalid Breakfast combo. You can just win with just play a regular Bant deck and just incidentally have an I win button in your deck. And then people started to realize, oh, Nadu's so good. He's so freaking good that you don't even need to have a combo in your deck. You can just win through. Okay, they are getting kind of low in life, but I'm confident that they will be able to. They probably have Crater Hoof or something like that in their deck. So you can imagine how tedious it would be to play against this in paper. Like it's not as bad on MTGO because you can just like walk away and I literally often I'll walk away and I'll go do laundry and stuff when people are going off with this deck because it's not deterministic. It can fail. It's not. I'm fine with infinite combo decks, but like non-deterministic combo decks that could take like that might not work, and you just sat there and you like watch them click through a bunch of stuff for like 20 minutes and then they don't win. I've got several of those kinds of instances on my channel of people just like doing the Nadu combo and somehow not winning. Okay, they just added a boatload of mana. 14 mana. What are they going to do with that? I didn't know Court of Calling could get any color. I thought it was like Green Sun Zenith. So that is a significant upgrade in terms of just giving them way more ways to get Nomads in core. So we are recouping some clock, and now they get an extra turn with Emrakul. And now we are pretty dead. Yeah, they're playing Allosaurus Shepherd, double Allosaurus Shepherd. This is the gives everything trample creature. Finhorn Elves. They've got so much storm. They can just tendril as us now. Okay, well, anyway, I'll stop marbling at their deck. I'm just going to shut up and let them kill me. And then we'll see you for the next round. Okay, so I do think that Court of Calling being a, like they have to spend a lot of mana and they may not have the card. So I do think Lavinia comes in here. Lavinia does kind of slightly punish Cradle. It's not like the most powerful anti-Cradle card. Bowmasters are good against decks filled with Mana Dorks. Containment Priest is an absolute, like shoe-in for this matchup. So cards we can take out. I hate to say it, but I do think Samwise comes out. Like, sorry, Sam. Baleful Tricks, not like the most impressive. Like, they're not going to win through attacking. They're going to win by comboing off. So spending 2 mana to like draw a card doesn't feel super powerful. Daze is really weak against their deck. Even on the draw, or even on the play, I feel like it's pretty weak. Because we've cut these Samwises, I'm also tempted to cut the Baubles. But actually the Baubles, they're not using their graveyard for anything, so we should cut the Nullspell Bombs instead. All right, so those are some obvious cuts. We've got 60 cards. Do we want to figure out a way to get Force of Negation into the deck? Because, I mean, that's how they find their cards. The problem with Force of Negation, of course, it doesn't stop creature spells, which is what they actually use to win. So assuming they're not using a Court of Calling or Green Sun Zenith, and they're actually just naturally casting the cards, Force of Negation does nothing. Here's my thinking. Samwise is... I want to play Samwise. I like Samwise, but I just feel like recurring a Wasteland is not going to get us where we need to go. They don't have any enchantments that I could see. I do want to bring these in, though. I feel like we could probably take out some number of dazes and just have these. Is that right, though? No, I think we can pressure their mana a little bit. Let's see. Man, I want to play Samwise so bad. He's so good. But he doesn't feel good here. Yeah, I'm sorry, Samwise. I promise if round 5 is just like a fair mirror, like we're playing up against Blue-Black Tempo or, Death and Taxes or anything, my kingdom for a fair mirror. My goodness. Like, can I please play a non-combo deck? Okay. So this is a pretty good hand. It's got double force, Nethergoyf to open, which provides some initial pressure. Yeah, when we have a lot of things we can feed Nethergoyf too. I'm going to keep this. So what I'm planning to do here is go ahead and fetch Underground Sea. I mean, they could be playing Choke, but I think they're like an all-in combo deck. I don't think they're going to care about that stuff. Underground Sea, Nethergoyf. And then next turn, if we draw a land, we could potentially Psychic Frog. But if we don't, I'll probably just waste and ponder. They might be playing Basic Forest. I think they are. Yeah, they did last game. Okay, here's a Hierarch, which I'm not going to interact with. I'm not even sure if it's correct to bolt it or plow it if I draw a plow. Okay, so this is an easy play. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Lavinia is good, so I don't want that Wasteland, but I do want Lavinia and I want Fetch. So I think what I do is I just take the Fetch next turn. And right now I'll take Lavinia. I will play this out. They're on notice. And I'm just going to attack and get my 2 damage. And I'll pass. Next turn, I will be playing Lavinia out, I think. And who knows, maybe they just have to play a non-basic and we can waste it. I mean, this does deal with Cradle, but I'll waste anything at this point. Okay, 2 mana. Green Sun. I think, I'm not sure what this is getting, but the fact that it didn't play out any mana makes me want to counter it. And please tell me if you think this is a mistake. Like in the comments. I mean, we're going to see whether it was a mistake and they just dropped a land and everything's jolly. You know, that's definitely a possibility. All right, Lavinia should be really good here. Also, by forcing that, we did make Nethergoyf bigger. Just in case they have a force or something, I should have played Lavinia out. I'm so used to just fetching when the second that I get a play land attack then spells. I'm so used to that pattern that I keep forgetting that Lavinia doesn't like that. Or I'm sorry, Nethergoyf doesn't like that. Okay, so we're gonna do this. I'd much rather lose my Psychic Frog to a Force of Will than my Lavinia at this point. We've got a lot of pressure on the table. I will force... I mean, they can't really do anything with this mana. They can cast creatures. They can play another Mana Dork. That is mana. I'm just going to let them have it. Okay, there's Cradle. That is going to be a force from me, dog. I do not like that guy. And luckily, you can't force back. All right, so there's definitely a possibility that they could have another one. I'm going to draw first before I waste them, but I'm almost certainly wasting this. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm first. I'm trying to think whether I should brainstorm with white or black. I do have Bowmasters in my deck, so that makes me want to... If I find a Bowmasters, I'll be so happy. It's not a Bowmasters, but it is quite good. So I'm going to put this back and this back. Now I'm going to play this out. I'm going to see their top card. This is going to grow the Nethergoyf, Springheart, and Nantuko that they will be able to cast. Now I'm going to attack in, and I am going to draw a Daze, importantly. Okay, they are not blocking. I'm going to waste this, but Springheart and Nantuko will be able to resolve here. I'm not sure how big of a deal it's going to be. They're down to 8. So I got my Daze. The top card is a Nethergoyf, which I don't think will matter. I think they're, they might Springheart Nantuko, but I'm going to be dealing so much damage. Maybe it'll matter. Okay, they're doing something other than that. Okay, Nadu. Let's say no to Nadu. And I think that's probably game. Because we're hitting them for 6. I mean, they might be able to figure out a way to wriggle out of this. They know what my cards are. I'm just going to put them on the table. Black. Let's play out another Nethergoyf here before combat in case they can counter it. Now we will just attack with everything. And I'm hoping that they're so low in life that we can just pressure them to death. I hope I'm not missing any, angle. I hope I'm playing perfectly. This is such a simple game and a short game. Okay, this is a good card. They can start exiling stuff from our graveyard, but it's slow. And they need to exile a lot before Keen-Eyed Curator becomes big enough to successfully block another Goyf. Let's see. They have 1 green mana. They could exile a Bauble, for example, and shrink. But I'm going to be attacking with everything here because it's like a force block, basically. Let's see if I get a plow and make this simple. Okay, let's think about this. So we attack with both these. They make one smaller. They have to chump Lavinia. Yeah, I think if we just attack with everything, they're dead. They could plow. Okay, we got it. All right. Yeah, because they did have white off of Noble Hierarch. I was trying to think of what options they might have had. All right. I feel very good about this. I do think Daze comes out completely on the draw. What do we bring in? Consign to Memory doesn't do anything. I think we're bringing in the negations here, and we'll bring in a Samwise. Samwise or Strix? Strix does, like if they're playing the Keen-Eyed Curator, Strix does dull their aggro plan pretty well. I think Samwise is better. It's value. It can potentially give a Psychic Frog. No, the problem with Samwise is they're always going to have like some 0/1 or something that can block. So I don't think it'll help. I think maybe we bring in Strix instead just because it's a blue card that pitches to force. All right. Game 3 of round 4 against Nadu, like Turbo Nadu, I think is what I'll call this deck because it basically just tries to get Nadu in play. This is a hand with force, has plow, it has good cards. It does not have any way to get a land. If we don't get a land, we've got 19 lands in our deck. If we just don't get a land, we have no recourse. We're just dead in the water. As good as these cards are, do I want to throw game 3 away by being undisciplined? No, I do not. I'm going to mulligan this. All right, this is not a great hand, but it does have lands. It does have Netherwolf getting big, and it does have Bowmasters. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to hope that they have a slower draw. I don't think it's wise to keep mulligan. I'll just put this here so I can put more cards in the graveyard. And so I can potentially fetch basics. I don't think it's going to matter at all that I fetch basics. I'll be amazed if they have anything that interacts with my mana. All right, so turn 1 is going to be Underground Sea into Nethergoyf. Turn 2 is going to be Bowmaster on one of their mana dorks. They could have Nadu as early as next turn, which is terrifying. Okay, option. I think we save Plow for Nomad Encore, and we do get busy with Nethergoyf. Next turn, we'll have the option of plowing and pondering, which will both make our graveyard more stacked and make Nethergoyf more stacked. Yeah, because like this is a combo deck, but it can just win through the aggro plan if you just stand still. Allosaurus Shepherd is not a problem. I'm definitely willing to plow that. Hopefully I won't have to though. Okay, now I'm pretty worried. And now I think Nomad Encore is actually a better target than Allosaurus Shepherd. All right, so here are our options. 1. I don't think we have good options here. Here's my thinking. We kill the Nomad. If we attempt to Bowmaster the Nomad, they can just redirect the damage to the Dryad Arbor. I think we just have to let Allosaurus Shepherd live for a turn. So I'm going to start by pondering here. This will buff the Goyf, give us a better idea of what we're likely to draw here. Second Bowmasters is incredibly good here. We don't really need either of these cards. I'm just going to take this. All right, and now I think we just attack in with Nethergoyf. And then hopefully they block. And then after combat, or during combat even, we can plow the Nomad. I don't think they're blocking. Okay, yeah, I could have plowed before for an extra damage. That was a bad play on my part. Let's see. I think we can hold this and see what they do. We are going to have to hit the Nomad for sure. Because the Nomad protects everything, or the Nomad protects itself, and it combos. Oh no, here's the Nadu. All right, Nadu on the stack. Well, I'm going to go get a Tundra. And I am going to plow here. This is like literally the only option we have. And now, unfortunately, Orcish Bowmasters is not a very good card. It's whenever the creature... Okay. They have another one! I'm just going to concede. There's no... Like, they're going to get like eight cards this turn cycle. We're never going to catch up. Yep. That's the way the cookie crumbles. We mulliganed... I think it was a disciplined mulligan. Who knows whether we would have gotten the second land. Had we gotten the second land, that would have been a keep. But it was too risky, in my humble opinion. And I feel like this... Like... You know, Orcish Bowmasters would have decimated their board if they hadn't had this. Now, we didn't have a choice. We had to plow the Nomad. So I feel like from the decision to keep, like everything felt like pretty much like a forced decision. I didn't get the vibe that we really had any options there. If you think that I missed something and that my play was suboptimal here, please let me know. I would very much appreciate your feedback on it. Let's go to round 5, see if we can get a 4-1. All right, round 5 up against, you guessed it, Rescam or Blue-Black Scam. This hand doesn't seem terrible. I like the... I don't think they're just going to open waste us. I think what we do is we play out the Tameo. I like the plow, just in case they do go the frog route. We have Brainstorm for turn 2, which flips Tameo. I think I'm going to keep this. We're on the play. Keeping a one-lander is always a little concerning. We could absolutely get wasted out of this game. This is the risk, by the way, of playing a 3-color deck. Is like now we can't deploy Nethergoyf. We can't deploy Psychic Frog. But at the same time, we do have the best removal spell ever printed. My kids are being very noisy. Okay. So now sorry, my kids were like yelling a whole lot and I had to go tell them to see if they could pipe it down. Of course, I said it politely because I'm polite to my kids. All right. They kept it. So this is green-black. They might be on just like mono-black Reanimator. I mean, they might not be on Reanimator, but that was what they were on a few days ago. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attack. They're not going to be able to daze me here. So now, are we going to Brainstorm Lock? We have 18 lands left in the deck of 52 cards. That's basically 1 and 3. Yes, we got there. Oh my goodness. Such a relief. Okay. So I think what we do here, we can put back Redundant Tameo. I think we can put back Nethergoyf right now. Because, well, if it doesn't look like they're playing Daze, I can't imagine them playing Daze when they've got that land in their deck. So I think we can just go with Psychic Frog next turn instead of Nethergoyf. All right. Yeah, I'm playing very deliberately here. Yeah, I'll just pass. So we had the ability to fetch white and plow and step if we need to. Oh, I forgot to freaking upticker. Oh my goodness. Why didn't you all tell me? Too bad this is like a pre-recorded. If this were Twitch, somebody would probably point that out. Okay. By the way, the reason I don't do Twitch is because it's very time intensive. And like, I don't want to have to schedule like a huge block of time and have everybody show up. I'd much rather just do this as time permits in my busy day. You know, being a dad, being an engineer. All right. Archon and Troll. They've got lots of juiciness in their graveyard. Okay. This gives me bad vibes, but this could be Thoughtseize into Reanimate. If I counter this, I think it's a mistake to counter that. They probably are going to do something, but like, let's say they do bring back Archon. I've got the plow for this. I'm going to let them take my force. I'm just so embarrassed that I'm going to lose this anyway. It doesn't matter. Because they're going to bring back Archon. They're going to get rid of force. Then they're going to bring back Archon. Then I can plow. And they go up a card. Yep. As foretold. Another Dark Ritual. Please tell me you don't have an Unmasked too. I just want to play good, clean, fun Magic the Gathering. Yeah, now they're going to go get a Gristlebrand. You know, why draw one card and kill my Tameo when you can draw 14 cards? Shallow grave. Yeah, nothing I can do. They're going to attempt to draw. I'm just going to plow now. I mean, they know it's coming. Unfortunately, this means that I'm not going to be able to Psychic Frog next turn unless I happen to draw. Yeah, but I could absolutely, like, had I gone up with her, I could recur that force. I mean, we're not winning this game anyway, but I'm just trying to like in case you're like, oh, it's not that big of a mistake. Don't worry, be excellent. Don't be too hard on yourself. Like it was a pretty big punt in my opinion. Okay, so now they've got even more stuff they're going to do. I'm just going to F6. There's nothing I can do here. We'll see we'll learn a little bit more about their deck. Shallow Grave is not commonly played outside of like hardcore reanimation strategies. Ripples of Undeath. Okay, this is a new card that we can take a look at. It's got a cool name. Ripples of Undeath. It's got some cool art of like the eyeballs are somehow preserved inside the skull. At the beginning of your first main phase, mill 3 cards. Then you may pay 1 colorless and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand. So it's basically like, it's kind of like a Phyrexian Arena, or what was it? Okay, Iona comes in play. All right, I'm back. Iona has chosen blue. Let's see if we can rip the plow. We did not rip the plow. I'll ponder and see if I. Oh wait, I can't ponder. I'm trying to think if there's any reason to keep playing this game. I'm just gonna concede. So again, sorry. Like my kids were getting into like an argument, and I had to go, lay down the law, which basically means just like pulling them into a room and trying to calm them down, doing some breathing exercises. Okay, so we've done this before. Orcish Bowmaster is very good against Gristlebrand. Much better than Samwise. Sorry, Samwise, you haven't got a chance to shine in this combo-intensive meta. All right, I don't think I saw red. I think it was just pure black. Did we see any red? I don't think we did. So cards that are going to come out, I think Prismatic Ending is pretty terrible. They're like, it can hit Animate Dead technically, but like I'd rather plow. Keeping all my counter magic in. I will cut a couple baubles. These are pretty slow, and also they gum up. Like whenever you have like difficult mulliganing decisions, you don't want baubles in your hands. Like that really is like, oh, this could be a land, or this could be some card that's off color that I can't cast. So yeah. All right, I think we do this. I mean, I definitely would be willing to cut a wasteland, go down a land, but I don't think Nethergoyf is worth it. I'd rather just have my land underneath me. Yes, let's do this. Okay, so we beat Reanimator twice. Can we beat it the third time? All right. So, assuming that they don't have an explosive turn 1 hand, they didn't last time, this is really good because we can potentially plow 2 other things. Got a ton of redundancy. We can open Tamiyo, which can generate at least 1 clue. Then we can, Bowmasters. I don't really like relying on plow though. I mean, everything in this hand is fine, but I think it's a mulligan. I want a counter spell. This is much better. Okay, so I think what I'll do here is I'll just put back the island. I think we play out Nethergoyf instead of Tamiyo because we don't want them to discard us and then us not be able to force. So I'm going to put this back and keep this. They definitely could have, but we didn't see red. They could have Magus, right? We had to fight through Magus that one time. Reveals Chancellor of the Annex. Okay, well, sadly, I'm just going to fire my Nethergoyf into the Annex. No, wait, I don't have to do that. Yeah, I don't have to do that. I'll just wait for a turn. Is that right? It's just 1? Okay. The next turn, I can deploy the Nethergoyf. I'm surprised they keep Chancellor in on the draw. It seems pretty weak on the draw. This is their enabler. I'm going to hit this and I'll pop the Chancellor bubble while I'm at it. Wait a second. It's not going to let me freaking fetch. Oh my goodness. It doesn't let you fetch? How can it not let you fetch? I guess I had to hold priority. Okay, well, we learned something new here in the most embarrassing of ways. Yes, apparently you have to... So upset with myself right now. If you could see me just like putting my head through my desk. That is so embarrassing. Well, that is something that would never happen in paper, but just happened. So upset. So upset. All right. It'll be a miracle if we can win now. Strix is a blue card. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this Nethergoyf. I need to keep the blue card for the force. I think there's like a 0% chance we win here. Because like any sort of discard effect, and they got Gristlebrand now. And that's just going to chill in their graveyard forever. Yeah, and then they can even... Because that would have been perfect, because then they wouldn't even be able to flashback Faithless Looting, because I happen to have Force of Negation. Yeah. Sorry, folks. I'm sorry to let you down. All right, Bowmasters is not the worst. If they bring back Gristlebrand, Bowmasters will be going in. All right, we're going to swing in, and I will end step Bowmasters. No need to tip my hand. In case they do reanimate Gristlebrand, I am going to want to, and I'm pretty sure that's what they'll reanimate. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put Gristlebrand, or Orcish Bowmasters on the stack. They may be tempted to reanimate the Chancellor if this is on the table rather than Gristlebrand. Because whenever somebody dazes or anything, you can just fetch to respond. So I was like not expecting Chancellor to work that way on MTGO. But my newness to MTGO is showing. Yeah. I guess that makes Chancellor a lot better on MTGO than it is in paper, because you have like a decent chance of getting somebody. They don't have another way to discard a card. So Gristlebrand is still a really good card. It's just, a giant lifelinker. Yep, they're going to get their Gristlebrand back. I mean, they might just use it anyway. They can just wait a turn. They know Strix is coming, so they won't be able to attack in. I do think it's the correct play to play it out. Black, blue, Strix. We'll see what we draw. I'm not going to shame concede here. I can't do anything. I'll just chill. And yeah, the moment they start drawing cards with Gristlebrand, they're going to lose a lot of life. Thoughtseize is fine. They could reanimate my Psychic Frog. Thoughtseize again. Thoughtseizing themselves. Archon of Cruelty. Still can't attack. Strix is definitely holding the line here. All right. So since they put Archon, well, damn. That's a pretty good draw. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. They can draw in response. They didn't. Let's play this out. I'm going to attack with everything. Actually, I'm going to leave Strix back. Am I going to leave Strix back? Strix can block flyers. I think that makes sense in case they have like some instant speed recursion. So we're dealing 5 here. It's important to note that, like, had we been playing straight blue-black, that we would not have had access to Plow, which was absolutely clutch there. If I somehow win this game, I will just consider myself like incredibly lucky, because I definitely don't deserve to. That's fine. Sadly, it is going to kill my Orc Army token, and I'm going to need to find another. Yep, bye, and then I'll get another one here. So every time it attacks or anything, it is going to do damage, but the Orc Army will be able to absorb it. And they're going to need reanimation to get through Baleful Strix. I don't think they play any removal in their deck. They might. Best card in the deck is Nile Spellbomb, probably. Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they draw another recursion spell. Traxa would be an ordeal. So Nile Spellbomb would be the best draw. Plow would not be bad. That's not it. I can't attack. Unfortunately, I just don't have attacks. I'm going to play this land out because otherwise it's going to get discarded, and I'm going to pass. And I will probably sack... Well, I'll definitely sack the Orc Army token, and then I'll block with Baleful Strix. And we'll just have to see if we get lucky, because they've got 3 cards, basically. They're going to get another card here. And if one of those is a reanimation spell... they don't even need to find it. Yeah, they just get all the cards. Yeah. Again, I feel like had I been able to successfully counter that spell, we would have won this and we'd be in game 3 already. Because like my draws have been very good. Let's just take a look at what they take. They took Reanimate, Ripples of Undeath, Underground Mortuary, Vexing Bubble. Ripples of Undeath is not the greatest against me right here. Are they going to attack? So they have Reanimate. They can reanimate this creature. So I think here we just sack this. I'm not going to get clever. I am going to hit them. Okay, I'm going to go to block. Block is going to happen here. They have so many cards, including a Reanimate, that they can immediately cast. I wouldn't be surprised if they just recast it now. Bowmasters has done so much work here, but unfortunately, Bowmasters alone can't hold the line. We're going to need to draw another good card. Yep, another Archon. We'll sacrifice that. We will ping them. I think, yeah, it is correct to ping them. It's difficult to imagine a situation where we can do so much damage that, and yeah, they've got a Lotus Petal too. Okay, it doesn't look like they're using the Lotus Petal. Cameo potentially chumps for a turn. It keeps us alive, but we're looking at 9. Yeah, we're dead either way. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Yeah, it's sad that it ended that way. Sorry, audience. Let's talk about the deck though. So yeah, we did have a positive record, but unfortunately, we could only beat so many Reanimator decks. In the Nadu deck, I think it just like, I don't know how you beat the Nadu deck, frankly. I just don't know because they have so much redundancy. Let's take a look at that Nadu deck. So I'm going to pull it up on MTG Top 8. And I'm going to just kind of like live kind of like deck clinic it and see how you fight this deck. Let's see if we can find a recent, like, okay, this one, let's see there. I mean, you could say like, oh, like it's not like it's the only deck that wins and stuff, but it is a very difficult deck to stop. My reasoning is this stops counter magic, Allosaurus Shepherd, and it's also an alternate win con. So this is basically like elves. But the problem is like old elves kind of sucks now because you've got cards like Orcish Bowmasters that hit it really hard. They're playing a bunch of X1s, but at any moment they can Court of Calling or Greenstone Zenith. So they essentially have access to 12 Nadus and 12 Nadus, and they have access to 8 Nomads, because Court of Calling can get it as well. So their deck is an incredibly redundant, like AB combo deck. And yeah, I'm just not sure how to fight this. I mean, you could say like a card like any sort of sweeper would technically do it. Yes. But the moment that a Nadu and a Nomads in Core are in play at the same time, the game just ends effectively. Like they're going to get 4 cards. They're probably going to flip land. They can do all this at instant speed. You can interact with it. You can potentially plow the Nomad while the Nadu's on the stack. But if they have Nadu out and you don't have a plow in your hand, well, even if you plow the Nadu after Nadu's in play, they're still going to draw a card off him. And we saw that, like they drew like a replacement Nadu after we plowed their Nadu, right? So it's a very tricky deck to attack. Here's my current thinking on it. My current thinking is Grafdigger's Cage is an incredible card right now. The reason is that you can stop both Nadu because it's like searching through his graveyard, and you can stop the Reanimator decks. The problem is Nethergoyf does like to come out of the graveyard, and that gets stopped by this. And I really like playing Nethergoyf. I think Nethergoyf's really good right now. Now, what won me most of the games was not Nethergoyf. It was cards like Containment Priest and Lavinia. White cards that came from the sideboard, right? It was Bowmasters, kind of like helping gradually chip away at my opponents. I don't think Prismatic Ending had a good showing here against 5 combo decks. I don't think Strix was actually pretty decent. It wasn't great, but it was decent. Samwise was just terrible. Like I think we cast him like 2 or 3 times, but he's just not like, and you don't even see him played in Death and Taxes anymore, really. I mean, you could definitely argue he's underpowered. The main problem is Samwise is competing with, turn 2 reanimate on Gristlebrand and things like that, right? Like, what do you want to be doing with your? Do you want to be like getting a fetch land back from the graveyard? Yay, value! Or do you want to be putting an I win threat into the board that if your opponent can't counter it, the game functionally ends. Same thing with Traxa. Same with the Archon is a little bit like more forgiving in that you can plow it and the game will continue. But I would say like the white was definitely powerful here. We didn't get punished because we were up against a bunch of combo decks. Aside from the Magus of the Moon, we never encountered any, like, I don't think we encountered so much as a Wasteland. Did we? So we were like very much just able to play on, non-basics the entire time. So if you were going to build this deck, frankly, you'd probably take these out. I'm just going to be completely candid. I love Samwise. I would love for Samwise to be playable in Legacy. Right now, I don't think Samwise is, and that's even with Orcish Bowmasters at a nadir in terms of play. What I would probably do in place of Samwise is I would just not play any more white cards. I don't think there are any other white cards that are worthy of being played if you're trying to play this kind of like tempo-y archetype. You could argue that white isn't even worth playing because you have Fatal Push, and that solves most of the same problems that Plow solves. But let's say hypothetically you do want to play a 3-color deck. First of all, I think you get rid of the plains and you get rid of the swamp and you do this. Boop, boop. Then you have a lot more blue mana and you're just like less likely to get in situations. And then if you do that, you really do need to have extra Hydroblast because then you at least have something you're drawing to. What you could do is you could put a Lorien Revealed in as your as a land, and then you take out a fetch, and then let's see if I can get my Lorien up here. Then you've got an extra sorcery here that does buff your Nethergoyf. Now you got like 7 sorceries, right? So that's really good. And then you could, like, Mishra's Bauble was never relevant, but Nal's Bauble was relevant in most of those matchups. So that right there is like kind of what I do. And then I would just, I mean, you could move Bowmasters to the main here. I feel like the other option, of course, is put in some Stifles. So Stifle is a pretty good card right now. It may feel kind of bad, but 3 Stifle, 3 Wasteland, 3 days. That is like the core of the tempo shell. That gives you a lot of tempo reach. Yeah, I don't know what else I would do here. If I had to cut something for the Hydroblast, I'd probably just cut a Bowmasters and go down to 3 Bowmasters. Then you have all your cheap interaction here, and you have your hate cards in Lavinia and Containment Priest and Serenity. I do think Serenity is good. I don't think that I would feel comfortable playing Wrath of the Skies with this deck. And then you play something like this. But again, it's like, why are you even playing white? Well, you're playing white because you get Prismatic Ending. Well, why play Prismatic Ending when you can just play Brazen Borrower? Why play Swords of the Plowshares when you can just play Fatal Push and suddenly you don't have to deal with white in your mana base anymore, right? It's like a perfectly valid question. And so I think that this, unfortunately, is kind of like the dilemma defining Legacy right now. I would probably actually go down to 2 Stifles and add another Strix. Strix is good here. And that is 1 more artifact. So now you're up to 6 artifacts, 7 sorceries, and then plenty of instants and lands and creatures. So Nethergoyf is going to be good. I think Nethergoyf is an amazing card. I love it. And I think that, whether you play blue-black or whether you splash for white, the idea is the same. You stick a turn 1 threat. You try to protect it, and you try to disrupt and stop their game plan long enough to ride that win to the win. It's not any different from, Rug Threshold from like 15 years ago or something like that, right after Delver was printed. Even before Delver was printed, they'd be playing Tarmogoyfs and Nimble Mongoose, and they would have like 12 threats in their entire deck. And the goal is, and I think in that regard, you probably do want to have an extra Stifle if you want to really do the Protect the Queen strategy. I'd like to record a league where I just do this, because I feel like this is pretty powerful. I mean, we did beat 3 combo decks, and there's a decent chance we could have beaten that last combo deck had there not been an interaction that I was unaware of with the Chancellor bubble. So, I mean, you could maybe even cut this Bobble. I just don't like Bobble. I don't think it's a good card. And then, you do have like that. That's probably better. Then you still have the artifacts, but you have a little bit more creature. You got 14 creatures. Yeah, I think that's probably enough. 18 lands plus the Lorien Revealed, and you will cast Lorien Revealed. It may seem like, when are you ever going to cast Lorien Revealed in your tempo deck? But like, it does come up like where games stall out, and when you rip the Lorien Revealed, you feel like a genius for basically, I mean, it wins you the game basically. So I know that's a whole lot of banter at the end. We started strong, as with so many leagues. We started strong, and then we encountered Nadu, the run killer. And then after that, we just stumbled against that Reanimator deck. But I don't think there's anything wrong with this archetype. Like I love this, and I love the idea of fighting fair, even when the meta is so unfair that like you go up against 5 combo decks that are trying to turn 1 you basically, or Nadu in this case, like turn 3 you probably is their critical turn. But Daze is still an amazing card. I still love Resolving Lavinia. I think she's amazing. I think Containment Priest is amazing as a one of, and when you splash white, you get access to these. There's risk and reward. There is the risk of getting wasted out of the game, but there's the reward of not getting wasted out of the game and playing a game-winning Containment Priest. How many games ended when Containment Priest to the table? I think at least 1 or 2 of them during this league, this very small sampling of games. Containment Priest is an absolute house against Reanimator, and it's also, incidentally, this is also good against Nadu, right? So you could absolutely bring this in again. I think I did bring it in against Nadu. Because they've got 8, cards that fetch stuff out of their deck that gets exiled by Containment Priest. The deck that won the what was it called? The 4 Seasons over in Bologna. That deck, piloted by my role model, Andrea Mengucci. That deck played 4. It was a critical control deck, but it played 4 Green Sun Zeniths and it played 3 natural orders, right? And so by playing a single Containment Priest that can hop out at any time against their counter spell list deck, you can completely disrupt what they're doing and really throw them off tilt. Now, against Mengucci's deck, he did play a Grist, and Grist can be gotten in interplay. It's a creature when you're searching, but the moment it starts to interplay, it becomes a Planeswalker, so it doesn't get exiled to Containment Priest. So that is one thing to be aware of. And that also, I think, Grafdigger's Cage has the same problem. So, yeah, Containment Priest, very well positioned. I actually don't think it would be outlandish to play 2 of them. It's so good right now. And, you might find it better to play just 1 Serenity and 2 Containment Priests. You're going to want 1 Containment Priest, 1 Lavinia, and probably at least 1 Serenity, though. Like, I wouldn't leave home without them if you're playing white. I think those are the key white cards. I think 2 Prismatic Ending is fine. Prismatic Ending is really good against Delver. It's really good against the deck that I usually main, which is this blue-black mid-range these days, because it hits like everything in the deck, basically gets killed by it. And it's an exile-based effect. It's pretty inexpensive. It can hit artifacts. It can hit a flip Tameo. I feel like Prismatic Ending is really strong right now, and people are sleeping on it. So I think people are sleeping on white in general, and that is nothing new. I'm going to try another league next week playing this deck. So if you have feedback, like, it'll probably be this exact build. It'll be the, without trying to do the cute stuff with like baubles and Samwise, it'll just be like straight good card. I mean, if you look at this deck, every single card in this deck is a defensible card that you can be putting in your deck in 2024. There's no head scratchers in here, right? The most head scratching card of all in this deck might be like Baleful Strix or Stifle, but these are still cards that have been extremely powerful in the past and are arguably still extremely powerful despite all the fire design and the power creep in the format. So I'll leave you with that huge chunk of thoughts. If you're still listening, I just want to thank you for tuning in. It means so much to me, like reading your comments and like realizing, oh, wow, I totally missed lethal there. Or, oh, like that was totally suboptimal. I didn't even think of that line that you're saying. It's like, it brings joy to my heart that people are enjoying watching these leagues and hopefully learning from me, learning what to do, what not to do by watching me make mistakes, learning, hopefully you'll never have to worry about the Chancellor bubble. Hopefully you will always crack your fetch before you cast your counter spell when there's a Chancellor bubble. And with that, until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.